Let's be brutally honest for a second. At $0, you're not broke. You're pre-wealthy. At least, that's what you tell yourself at 2 a.m. eating cereal for dinner because the chicken was too expensive. But here's the wild part. The guy eating the cereal and the guy eating the Wagyu steak are separated not by luck, not by talent, and not by who their daddy is. They're separated by decisions. A chain of choices, compounding over time, like interest, except one guy's interest is working for him and the other guy's interest is working against him. This video is going to walk you through what life actually looks like at every level of net worth, from dead broke to $100 million. And more importantly, what the moves are that take you from one level to the next. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact financial realities, mindset shifts, and lifestyle changes that happen at each wealth tier. No fluff, no just believe in yourself nonsense, just cold, clear, useful truth. And if you've ever wondered why some people seem to escape financial struggle while others stay stuck for decades despite working just as hard, you're about to find out exactly why. Let's go. Number 1. Net worth, 0 or negative. If your net worth is 0 or negative, meaning your debts are bigger than your assets, you're not in a financial hole, you're underground. Like the hole is above you. At this stage, your entire life runs on cash flow. You live paycheck to paycheck, which means if your employer forgets to run payroll on Friday, your weekend plans just became stare at the ceiling. Every emergency, and I mean every one, is a financial crisis. Your car makes a funny noise? Crisis. Your tooth hurts? Crisis. Your phone screen cracks. You're now the person walking around with a shattered screen held together by a phone case and prayer. Stop the bleeding. Track every dollar leaving your account. Build even a tiny emergency fund, $500, $1,000, whatever you can manage. It won't feel like much, but that little cushion is the difference between a bad week and a catastrophic month. Number 2. Net worth $1,000 to $10,000. Now you've got something. Not a lot, but something. At this level, you've got a small emergency fund, maybe a little savings, and you've stopped living on the financial edge like a tightrope walker with vertigo. Life still isn't easy, but you can breathe. A flat tire is now an inconvenience, not a disaster. That is genuinely life-changing progress. But here's where most people make a critical mistake. They get comfortable. They hit $5,000 in savings and think they've arrived. They buy the new phone. They upgrade the apartment. They start lifestyle creeping so hard they slide right back to level 1 without even noticing, like walking up an escalator that's going down. Don't touch the emergency fund for non-emergencies. Start funneling money into a retirement account, even small amounts. And most importantly, figure out how to increase your income. Savings alone at this level will not build wealth. You need to earn more. Number 3. Net worth $10,000 to $100,000. This is where things start getting genuinely interesting, and also where the gap between people who get it and people who don't starts to widen at an alarming rate. At $10K to $100K, you're out of survival mode. You can think beyond next Friday, and that mental shift, it's everything. Because wealthy people don't think in weeks, they think in years. At this level, you're probably investing, maybe in a 401k or an index fund. You've discovered compound interest, which is basically just money making babies that make more babies. It sounds boring. It is boring. It also works better than almost anything else in finance. Here's a funny truth about this stage. You will be tempted, deeply, personally, aggressively tempted, to do something smart with your money. Crypto tips from a cousin, a friend's startup, a can't-miss real estate deal. Resist. At this stage, boring is rich, exciting is broke. Max out tax-advantaged accounts. Automate your investments so your emotions can't sabotage them. And protect your lifestyle from inflating faster than your income. The person who earns $80K and invests 20% will almost always beat the person who earns $150K and spends $155K. almost always. Number 4. Net worth $100,000 to $1 million. You've crossed 6 figures. Congratulations. You are now richer than the vast majority of people on this planet. Let that sit. But you're not free yet. This level is deceptive because it feels like a lot of money until you realize your net worth is mostly tied up in your retirement account and home equity, and you can't exactly pay for groceries with your 401k without getting slapped with a penalty. At this stage, life gets noticeably more stable. You have options. You can take a career risk. You can negotiate from a position of confidence because you're not desperate. You can say no to a bad job, a bad client, or a bad deal, and that ability to say no is quietly one of the most valuable things money buys.
Here's the thing about the $100K to $1 million range, though. The gap between someone at $200K and someone at $900K isn't talent or luck. It's usually time in the market plus avoiding one catastrophically stupid financial decision. The number of people who get close to $1 million and then blow it on a business venture they didn't research, or a divorce they didn't see coming, or a lifestyle they couldn't sustain, it's heartbreaking and entirely preventable. Diversify. Don't have everything in one stock, one property, one business. Start thinking about what your money does when you're asleep, because at $1 million, you want your money working harder than you do. If this is making sense so far, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We drop videos like this every week, and you don't want to miss the ones on building passive income and escaping the 9-to-5. Number 5. Net worth $1 million to $10 million. You're a millionaire, which sounds glamorous until you realize $1 million in a low-cost index fund throws off about $40,000 a year at a 4% withdrawal rate. That's not retire on a yacht money. That's retire in a mid-range suburb and be careful with spending money. Still incredible, but manage expectations. The real shift at this level isn't the number, it's the identity. You stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like an investor. When you see something expensive, you don't ask, "Can I afford this?" You ask, "What's the opportunity cost of this?" Because at this level, every dollar you spend on depreciating things is a dollar not compounding in appreciating ones. People in this bracket also start to discover something nobody talks about on social media. More money, more problems is actually partially true. You now have tax complexity. Estate planning becomes real. You need an accountant, possibly a financial advisor, and you'll spend an uncomfortable amount of time in meetings discussing things like capital gains harvesting and trust structures. Protect the wealth you've built as aggressively as you built it. Pay for good financial and legal advice. It's not an expense at this level, it's insurance. And resist the urge to upgrade your lifestyle too dramatically. The millionaire driving the modest car isn't being cheap, they're just running the math you haven't done yet. Number 6. Net worth $10 million to $100 million. At this level, money stops being about security and starts being about legacy. You have more money than you can realistically spend in a comfortable lifetime. Your daily financial concerns are, and I say this with sincerity, not daily concerns anymore. You have people for that. People whose entire job is to make sure your money is working, protected, and growing. Life here looks like genuine freedom. You do what you want, when you want, with who you want. Your time is the asset you optimize, not your income. You're not working for the money, you're working because you want to, or because the thing you've built is bigger than you. The irony of this level? The happiest people here are the ones who never changed. They still drive reasonable cars, still have meals with their family, still find meaning in work and contribution. The least happy? The ones who believed the lie that a certain number would finally make them feel enough. Spoiler, it never does. The goalposts just move. That's a billionaire problem too, but that's a different video. Give back, invest in people, build something that outlasts you. Because at this point, the real question isn't how to make more money, it's what do you want your money to mean? Here's what I want you to take away from this video. Wealth is not a destination, it's a direction. Every level has its own game, its own rules, and its own traps. The people who move from one level to the next aren't smarter than you, they're just a few decisions ahead of you. Figure out which level you're at right now. Be honest, even if it stinks, then make the one move that level requires, not 10 moves, one. execute it, and then look up. Subscribe right now if you want to keep leveling up. We break down money, wealth, and financial freedom in a way that actually makes sense. No jargon, no fluff, just the stuff that works. Drop in the comments, what level are you at right now, and what's the one money move you're focused on this year? I read every single comment. See you in the next one.